Hey everybody, my apologies. I had to reschedule for a little bit later and work around the boss, the little one. So my apologies to you all. Hey Jedi, hey Kaza, watchers, hey Lady Leo, or C, good to see you. Hey Plotter, hey Loki, hi Marie. And just give it a minute for people to come in and I'll start then. Hey Michelle. Perfect. Good to see you. Hi Jane. Welcome in, Loki. Hey Valerie, good to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Hey Bailey. No worries. Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to address. The AT2 interview where he had somebody up on his panel, Empress, and some of the comments that were made. I do know he did a follow-up. Oh, that's good, Valerie. I do know he did a follow-up video where he stated that it wasn't directed towards me, but there was something. I see both sides in this, if I'm honest, and I just want to talk about that a little bit. Hey Moz, good to see you. So I just want to play a bit of what was said. Let me get this onto the timestamp. Okay.
So I guess what it was is that either the check wasn't what she was expecting it to be, and maybe they weren't able.
The music is too loud. Okay, thanks, Valerie.
Or maybe she just changed her mind. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, okay, well, I need this for me and mine, so we're just gonna let him know. Okay, well, we're not gonna be able to support you financially. We're not gonna support you financially. We're gonna support you in other ways. So that's what the whole falling out was about, because they made it. When last night, when I saw when he was popping off on her last night, yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, it's like I kind of felt him, but at the same time, it was like, I get what you're saying about, like, who are you to tell somebody, you know what I'm saying, not to tell their story or whatever. So
right, and I get it. Don't feed that energy. Like, they're right. They bait you. Right. I got what he was saying, but he also does that to Maggie a lot. And it's all like, do you not realize her whole channel is based off of drama? She has to talk about it.
And I think that he does that because I think, Ralph has this, I think he got like this controlling, you know what I'm saying, aspect to him, you know what I mean? Especially when it comes to women.
Yeah, and women don't like that, you know?
And women don't.
See, I think she's a very good point here. So there are some things that I do agree on. And I'll give some commentary throughout. There are some things I
like that, especially black women.
What
You
is
know what
my
I'm saying?
opinion
When
in
you're
terms of-
known to hop around with the snow bunnies. You understand what I'm saying?
And that's why he don't like the black girls, because they gonna say
Exactly.
ding, ding, ding.
Exactly.
God damn it, you a genius.
Because he don't do that when it comes to somebody that's non. You understand what I'm saying? That's not
non-melanated.
Yeah, he don't do that. Only when it comes to, you know, melanated women, you know, he wants to come in and tell you what to do and control everything.
I think she's a very valid point here. And for people that are familiar, hey EJ, hey Brandy, for people that are familiar with him when he first came around, that statement she just said about him was very true. It was a statement that he made openly. It was an open statement he made. And it was one of the reasons when he was exposed, it was said that it's good enough to take the black community women's money, but his preference was towards whites. So when she's saying about how he treats women, I tend to agree with her. I 100% agree with this sentiment. And you can't see Valerie. She's up further. I can see where she's coming from with that point entirely.
Like,
right.
Cause see, because like I said, he liked the snow bunnies, and the snow bunnies are known for being submissive and allowing men to just say, say whatever they want to say or whatever the case.
He's used to just shut up and listen.
Exactly, just shut up and listen. You know?
And these women are very combative. And I wouldn't even say combative. Like, they're just because you're going on. It's not like these women are going to your platform and trying to,
right.
You're going to their platform.
You're going to their platform. You're going to their platform, trying to control them. You understand? And so what he's doing now is he's trying to redo his image.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to redo his image in the black sector, because he's already been known for liking white women. He said that out of his mouth.
Right.
He said that out of his own mouth. So
and so let me pretend to like Maggie so I can read.
Right. He's pretending to have something for Maggie when he knows he's not attracted to Maggie. And also when he jumped up there on I wasn't gonna call her by a name, but I ain't gonna do that. When he jumped up there on Sammy's panel, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he was pretending to flirt with Sammy.
Yeah,
he ain't like no goddamn Sammy.
And coming up there, acting as if he was defending her, you know what I'm saying, and this and that or whatever. It's because you trying to redo your image amongst all these black women. You understand what I'm saying?
She's right.
Right.
His true colors keep on showing, because like I said, when he gets up there, he's trying to control everything that they do and what they say. Now, I understand what he was saying.
Who comes to their platform, who gets to speak, who's up on panel, everything. He controls everything.
You said, like, you're letting people...
You only need Phantom to show up for him to be to feel intimidated, like there's another man around the place.
Trigger you.
And heaven forbid he wouldn't get the
But
attention.
see, if you didn't have that pattern, Ralph, of trying to control people, then maybe people would have just let it go. You know what I mean? And they would have saw your side, like, Golden, don't let this dude come and trigger you and you acting a fool, because now you're making people think that it's more than what it was, or you're making people think that they with that, you know what I'm saying, that okay, we're holding back and it's something that happened that everybody don't know about. You understand what I'm saying? I get it. And it's like, but at the same time, you can't be telling people what to do all the damn time. And hey, y'all adults, and whatever happened. So you got to take that into consideration too, because you had no business going over to the girl house and whatever happened. You understand what I'm saying? Because you knew it was a chance that it was going to get back to the internet.
And he brought it to
right.
the internet.
And I feel like he probably thought, oh, let me kind of manipulate this girl a little bit and see
Right,
if I can get
because we can all see that Golden is, I can't even say she not the brightest crayon in the box. She ain't even in the box. You understand what I'm saying? She ain't even in the box. Like her, Sammy, and it was another person I said, like, I think all these people rode the same little bus to school. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's
but
like
Empress, they didn't ride the bus. They was chasing behind it.
they was yeah. They was chasing behind the bus. You ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
Remember?
I do.
Remember in the beginning of the movie when dude took the little toy and he threw it out the back of the window and had the case in the school bus? Yeah, that's them chicks. That's them chicks. They don't, because they just don't get it, you know? And I hate to say, like, I don't think it's that they don't get it. I just think that something mentally with them just does not connect. You understand? Because when you hear people talk and you see their actions and you see their reactions to things, you can tell that it's something mentally up there that just don't connect with them.
Right. I think it's that. But like in Maggie's case, I think because it's a cultural difference. Well, it's a cultural difference all over. Like, I don't think there's too many black people in the province that she lives in Canada. And secondly, you know, black American culture is different. So I don't think she's ever dealt with somebody like Ralph before. So she's not understanding the game.
Let me break that down to you right quick about Maggie and her culture. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
A lot of black people that are from other parts of the states, if you're not from Florida, specifically South Florida, or if you're not from New York, other black people from other parts of the states, they are not acquainted, they have not been acquainted, and they are not aware of other black people from the quote-unquote diaspora. You understand what I'm saying? And it's Caribbean people and how Caribbean people view us and what they think about us. You understand? See, that's why you have a lot of these Latinos and people who enter into the black tea sector and they freely use the N-word and they're able to give you a story as if, well, this is what I grew up with and this is, you know, and this is a part of my culture too, because this is, I grew up around that. But see, Black American people, a lot of Black American people are not.
I'm just going to stop there for a second. Because even being on the outside, I have saw that. And I'm sure other people have witnessed that too. She has a very good point there. And there are a lot of people who will let it slide and not address it. And I'm not saying that's specific for the black tea sector. I'm saying across the board. Across the board as a CC. Whether it's the adjacent sector or the black tea sector. You'll get a lot of people that will let it slide.
Politics that goes on in the Latin Caribbean. You understand? They don't know about the Caribbean in general and the way that those black people view us. Maggie is a Haitian. Haitians are one of the most there were some of the most diabolical people in the Caribbean that I have ever seen, especially when it comes to how they feel about Black Americans. They literally hate Black Americans. They despise Black Americans. And see, when they come to America, they're able to mask it because, as I said, a lot of Black Americans are not educated on other parts of the world that are melanated and how they only know about other people, you know what I'm saying, and white people, you know, oh, these people are racist against us, but they don't know our own people.
I know Maggie blew up about this comment and saying that she felt because she didn't like her that was an attack on all ethnicity of Haitian people. And she blew her stack and she called him xenophobic. Now here's the thing, Maggie, okay? You've painted leprechauns. You painted me as a white walker from Game of Thrones. You kept saying on most of your lives, nearly every night when you went live, blonde hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, white walker with blue eyes. You did refer to Ireland. You did refer to leprechauns. There was lots of stereotypes that you used. So it seems to be only an issue when it comes to you. Now, I don't agree with the statement, but then what do I know? I'm not educated on that part, so I cannot speak or attest to it. I don't think it's right to say that an ethnicity of people are innately prejudiced towards Black Americans. But if that has been her experience, I can see why she would say something like that. It seems that she lived a life of privilege in Haiti and was able to escape, leaving everything behind.
Can be some of the biggest racists against us.
Right.
Haitian people are very vindictive. Haitian people are very treacherous. And when it comes to their education on America and Black Americans, they refuse to learn because they don't want to, because they despise us that much.
Right.
Maggie and Haitians have a tendency. Haitians will side with a white person any day before they side with a Black American over anything. And
because like I was saying, like Maggie was very anti-Black, and I still think she is. I think that she's trying to cover it up.
She's doing the same thing Ralph is doing. She's trying to cover it up and trying to manipulate the Black tea sector so she can have more of an ease. You understand what I'm saying? And she can get because now you see everybody's a racist now. Everybody's a racist now. Let her tell it.
But before, she was giving them all the courtesy in the world. She was like, it's not about race.
Yes.
You see, this I do agree with wholeheartedly. When you have had a platform, and this is kind of where the whole thing about not having credibility, not having any real integrity, because it takes you being backed into a corner to be able to make a decision on something, and then there's a tolerance or an apathy or some sort of level of, it's not even forgiveness, it's like apathy of, okay, just apologize, move on, and then it happens again and again. I do know in the early days out on Maggie's channel, there was a lot of Ebonics used, and that was pulled up by other Black Americans. It was pulled up in the Black tea sector. It was highlighted. People's comments were highlighted. These were highlighted, and she was made aware of them, and nothing was addressed. Nothing. She wouldn't go to the people and maybe try and educate them and say certain words you cannot say, considering they were predominantly white in her chat. Especially the ones in the early days. Because they came from Atwoods. I did not come from Atwoods. Ever. And just because Kaza or somebody else is in here that may be connected to them, that is nothing. Do I look into your chat and say such a person and make up some weird conspiracy? That's not how it works. That's called a grift. Feeding into a conspiracy. Try and feed it to the people in your chat. Crazy shit. But a lot of how people view Maggie, I think she has facilitated herself in getting there. There has been an apathy. I know AT2 had said things to her about previous people, like the plantation wife comment, and other things. And when this comes up, she seems to have a short fuse and going, well, it was addressed and she was apologized. But I think she misses the whole point with it. I do think she has a tendency not to respect the spaces that she comes into. Anywhere. And comes in quite combative to everybody. And that can come off as arrogance, or that can come off as superior. But I don't believe by any conspiracies in it. Yeah, she's the author of lies. Exactly. Yeah, but she doesn't do herself any favors in how she presents herself and how she manages her channel. Because it does seem like she will put up with a lot, and people are welcome in her chat regardless of what they have said or the bigger picture that's involved. Now, he is going to go on to speak about Europeans too.
Phenomenal. You know, like, where did this come from?
Now everybody is a racist, but all those people that you are calling racist, they were in your chats, they were your supporters.
And that's true.
Before. But now all of a sudden they're all racist. Yeah, they racist. And I said, yeah, they are all racist. They're covert racists. Yes, they are. All of these YT people, all of these little Europeans that's all in our chats, they're all covert racist. And I don't give a damn what none of them say.
And notice you use covert.
Yes, covert racist.
Let me just address this, okay? Actually, no. Let me finish her. Let her finish her sentence, and then I will.
Every last one of them, even the ones that seem as though they're defending, some of the black people in the black tea sector. I said they are all covert racists, especially all these Europeans, because most of them Europeans. Most of them from the UK. One of them sound like she's from Ireland. All of them. That's what I said. And I don't understand when it comes to us. Why it's a must that we have to give them a seat at our table? Because you ain't gonna go over there in none of their sectors and be welcomed with open arms.
And
I just want to say on that, I will challenge that and say I don't agree with this statement whatsoever. Not everybody from Europe, because they're white, are covert racists. And we certainly do not sit at our tables thinking that we got one up on somebody else. That's 100% wrong. However, if you look at people's experience on the app with white people in the black tea sector, I can 100% see where she would be drawing that from. I really do. If you look at some of the people who have come in, grifting, blackfishing, using ebonics, monetizing your channel, and the result of all of that, has she a point? Yes. She goes on to say the black tea sector should be for black people only. And I respect her honesty, to be honest. My consensus from this and listening to AT2 was that's how he wanted his channel also. And I can respect that boundary, and I can respect that if he puts it out, that's fine. I have never, in any chat that I went into in the black tea sector, I have never been made to feel anything but welcome. I have been in a chat a couple of times where people have, and it's usually off the back of when something is racially said, and that person is always fucking white, always. And then you have people who I'm sure are exasperated with all of this. But you just say, well, we can't mix, we can't be diverse. This is the black tea sector, fuck off. And to a degree, I agree with this. I agree with it. You don't have the Mobo Awards and then bring in a lot of white people and hand them out to them. I get where she's coming from, so I'm kind of like on the fence with this. I agree with some parts. It does. I don't think it's necessarily about the being a sub, Michelle. I think it's a little bit more than that. You must always do your own research and not rely on others to tell a history. Exactly, EJ. Yeah. I don't agree with the bias statement. You have to judge the individual's character. Yeah, and she goes on to say that people use this as a way of almost excusing, and then it becomes them that something happens to them where there's a slur said to them, or like I get it. I have actually stated out here, and I do know even from a couple of people that I'm close to out here, it's embarrassing when you have somebody from, say, this side who is saying things that you know are microaggressions, and they dismiss, minimize, and disregard everything that's been said. I think that's a blatant disrespect, a complete blatant disrespect. So AT2 did another live, and on it he corrected and said he didn't actually mean it towards me. He didn't have a problem with me as such, and he didn't think, he said the only criticism he would have had was about Electrojet. So I put a comment on his channel just to state Electrojet was removed from my channel once that reparations recording came out. He was gone. Both, they were gone. You all know there's a lot of people that are gone from my channel who are white for different comments that were made. So yeah, I can understand where people would be feeling okay, because some people do come in and try and take over. And when referring to Maggie as not being part of the Black Tees, because she's not American. She's not American. And if you've got a culture that's being exploited as a Black American culture, I can see where she's coming from. I really can. I can agree with everything she's saying, but I can see where she's coming from.
Just like you said, having a seat, but I feel like almost they're running it.
Listen, AT2.
Like,
I'm in these chats. I'm in these people's chats, and I see them. They run their mouth more than we do. They running their mouth about our business more than we do. And then the thing is that we will go against each other. We'll go against each other and kick this person and kick that person out of the sector, but we'll sit up here and fight for them to have a spot in our sector. You understand what I'm saying? Don't talk about that person. Oh, they're a good person. Oh, don't talk about. How do you know they're a good person? You don't know them from a damn a hole in the wall. You don't know them from a hole in the wall. Because I can guarantee you, when they get off of this internet, they at the table with their family and with their friends, telling everybody how stupid these niggas is.
And that's not true. I think that kind of generalization is really careless, as well as to label all of Haitians to be a particular way. You can't make sweeping statements like that, because they don't ring through for everybody. They can for some people, but they really don't for everybody. And this is what I meant when I said, when I come off the app, I don't sit here making any kind of joke or banter about any person and feeling any sort of way. It's crazy. Why is our business issues our issues? Everyone has them. Right, Valerie? Yeah. Magic went a little bit. Here's where I'm... Okay. Magic kicked off and she got extremely angry with AT2 over the comment that was made about Haitians. AT2 tried to go into the chat and give her a bit of context, but she didn't want to hear it. There's definite bias there and discrimination. Yes, there is. And there's probably her personal life experience too. But to label all of Europe and then anybody outside of African American has a different perception. I'm sure they definitely have a different experience, but what if here's the thing, right? She brought Golden up on panel, asking Golden what did she think, and Golden stayed quiet. And then she said, when she did, it was really awkward to watch. Then when she did speak, she let Ralph go first. Ralph's perspective was this is just kind of like another division to people, if you unite and all that stuff. And then Golden then says that she agreed with him, and that was her way of thinking too. But yet she was in the live and speaking in the live and talking about, let me quote it, let me get it. She's in the live. This is what I mean about not being serious on anything, not having principles, not standing on anything that you actually do believe one way or the other. So I can kind of respect this Empress woman. We're getting up and speaking her truth, even though I may not agree with it. Well, here's what Golden said. Where am I? Yeah. Lady T goes up on panel. And shout out, thank you, Lady T, because she did actually bring my name up in the chat and stated that I was not racist. And I appreciate that so much. I really, really do. So thank you for that. She went up on panel and it was a good discussion. But you have Golden in the chat saying that it's making a lot of sense what she's saying, okay? And then she's talking about only been taught one history. Now I understand that that's not a thing. She said she's speaking facts. She said this is so true. But if you know your true history, sometimes you just let people have it, and you know and hear is different too. Good conversation. So you're sitting with AT2 in his chat and you're agreeing with Empress talking, but then on Magis you go quiet. Wait a minute. On Magis you go quiet, and then when you were pushed for an opinion on it, then you agree with Maggie. But at no time in the chat did you say, well, actually the generalization of that ethnicity is not a blanket statement that you can put on people. You can absolutely say it's been your experience with a certain person and this is what it's based off. Like, I do agree with the sentiments that Empress makes, or at least I understand where she's coming from with them. I do really understand where she's coming from. But the blanket statements, no, not necessarily. And Maggie's chat has been problematic from the beginning. And it has been pointed out on lots of occasions about the microaggressions that were said by her mods, by her subscribers, that were left unchecked. And even if you're not aware of the cultural nuances, when it's brought to your attention and you don't address that, then it just breeds and festers. And it continues. Now, as of late, when we were over on Kimmy's recently, she did say she was trying to turn over a new page. That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen, because up until this point, it has been a haven and there is no other word for it, because the same people that were rejected from other places found a home in the Alex chat. That's where they went. And even if they apologized, the behavior wasn't changed, which is just manipulation. Say you're sorry just to move on. And then just be angry that you were called out about it. And not actually see in what you said and the damage that it caused. So AT2 was not a prick because he was there that night and he heard it. And was well within his rights to pull that comment up because it wasn't appropriate. So I don't know where it is if you think that you're going to be making some sort of stand or having, I won't say zero tolerance because you don't have zero tolerance, but whatever tolerance, and where you address this before it begins, or how's that going to look is the question. Because it doesn't look too good that you have somebody up on panel that'll flip-flop, depending on what chat she's in. So either she agrees with Empress when she's over in AT2 saying this is a great conversation and agreeing, which means she was also agreeing on the whole Haitian thing because that was part of the conversation. But then speaks about not wanting division on your platform. So these are the kind of things that I'd be saying about flip-flops. We'll go with a narrative just to say it in the panel. I said what I said. So last night, Maggie decides, after months and months of calling me racist, she said, I had a conversation with her and Kimmy's. As a matter of fact, we had a bit of a screaming match and then it went into a conversation. And what it was addressing one of the lies that had been put out about somebody else. And just because she was able to own it and say, okay, I wasn't aware of that after the fact, because it took months to be able to get that far. And damage was caused. And a rhetoric given around the black tea sector that did cause damage, where people did view that person differently and as a racist, as a result of a false narrative that was being spun. So she said, no, I'm not racist. She just thinks that I hate everybody. Well, she's saying that she thinks I hate everybody because I told her there was no middle ground. I have no interest in having a conversation with her. My principles are still the same. They are what they are. And a conversation with her is not going to change anything or do anything. And it certainly isn't going to change anything that has happened up to this point. So then Golden sitting there, because Maggie had said she wanted to have a conversation with me so she could stop the whole thing with Golden going legal. And I thought, yeah, you're looking for kind of manipulation. It's not going to work or fly with me. But now you've kind of set Golden up in the position, Maggie. You said something on your platform that she accepted from your mouth and ran around here repeating. And then last night, you decide to withdraw your statement. And she's sitting there asking you to pull up the definition of prejudice and racist. And you did. And I don't think she grasped the difference. But the damage is done. Half of YouTube was tagged. And here's the thing. When you make conspiracies up about people, you attach them to people like, and I'm just going to be straight out, Ron and Sean Atwood. You keep insisting I should be talking about them. Why should I be speaking about them? Why? Because at the height of when they were both on this side and over the other side of the Atlantic, and we're at their hype with Jag, that was the time when all of that grifting was going on at a high level. That was the time for them to be exposed. And it wasn't for the want of trying from the people from this side of the Atlantic, because they did put that information in there. That's over a year and a half ago. The hype has died down. I'm not saying that diminishes anything that may or may not have happened. But no, I do not have to look into somebody because you think so, or you need a researcher or whatever. But that is not my role here. For somebody else to say, here, go talk about that. No. You want to talk about it? You go ahead. But don't come tell me what I should and shouldn't be talking about. I have no ties to Atwood. I never had. The only time I was over in Atwood was when I was trolling when Jag was over there. Ronnie Bow, when all that grift was happening. Big homie CC. All of that. That was the time it was being highlighted. But you didn't want to see it and you didn't want to hear about it. But now you do. Now that you've fallen out with Ron, now you've a reason to look into it. Again, it's on you. It was fine until it wasn't, Maggie. It was fine until somebody fell out with you, Maggie. Then it was an issue. So no, there's nothing suspicious in why I'm not covering it. I did research it a year and a half ago. So did other people. Stuff was put in the Discord. And you admitted it yourself recently. You played them. We recognize them already. So continue. Do what you're doing. If that's your choice and your content and what you want to do, go ahead. In regards to this bullshit about Murph, that I'm tied to Murph, I'm not tied to Murph in any way. Did not know him in life whatsoever. If I knew him, why the hell would I have been exposing him not having a psychologist degree? Why? That doesn't make sense. The whole thing of people all over the world, because this is the adjacent sector and there's people everywhere from all over, no borders. Then there's now some conspiracy that people are placed from different places in the world just to attack other people without actually taking responsibility for the fact that the fallouts were caused by the same people who were playing victim. The same people who doxed. Same people who read out names. Same people who both of you, who promoted swatting on people. And then when they respond, it's a big problem. What's up, Alonso? I never understand you guys. All troll and love drama. Yet I noticed all these channels block trolls. You don't know. They do the same thing you guys do. Channels block trolls. You don't know what they do the same things you guys do. There are double standards all over. Yeah, I agree. Complete double standards. So much said about, I don't dox people over here. I haven't doxed people. Even though you have people running around saying it, I literally pulled up the piece of paper to show it said Jane and John Doe. Nobody's name, nobody's address, nobody got doxed. And in regards to me, and let me respond really quick to that other one. I never posted somebody's child. I never posted anybody's address. I posted a picture of a hallway, a foyer. That's it. That nobody will be able to recognize. So no, I didn't put anybody in danger. And in regards to that person, I have no interest, none, in speaking to them or doing anything about them. They're done. They're finished. I keep saying that I went over to try and have a conversation on your platform, Golden, and I did. And you were incapable of holding a conversation. You kicked off, and I dropped, and I left. Because for the 15 minutes prior to me going up, you were saying about, and you're going to be civil. Am I going to be civil? I was able to conduct myself fine. But you lost it. You're running around telling people you don't know what happened when you were the person who targeted me. You sent that to Ralph. You put me in thumbnails. You attacked me on the basis of something that you were not around for a year before. I had no interest in speaking on anyone from back then. Still don't. Still don't. But when you say something, people have a right to respond. Yeah, she muted me and started shouting, and I was just like, hold on a second. You're not going to do your big bravado while I'm muted and drop back down to the channel to say that I was muted. Football as well. You're a Russian buff from Miami, Michelle, are you? Double standards are crazy. You support people who dox people, but yet you complain that I doxed somebody else when I didn't put their actual address out there. But it's okay for other people to do it. Got it. There was no way of being able to have a middle ground or a sincere conversation where you would be willing to admit to things that you lied about, like me hacking and putting things on your on your computer while I'm fast asleep over here in a different time zone. I'm waking up to all this madness. Snoopy doxed me, Snoopy doxed me. And even up until last night, Snoopy's racist, Snoopy's racist. From your mum in the chat. I didn't send her any papers. I didn't want to cause any aggravated stress, but it's still going. It still goes on. There's a refusal to admit that you used your mother's platform back in March. And then I responded. The hacker is a real stretch, no offense. I'm a complete fucking stretch. Still figuring this thing out, you know. I've got there. I have got there a little bit. But as for hacking, no, I'll never make a hacker, ever. Not ever. You mentioned on a live that I had terrorized you. I don't know if you've got your own head full of paranoia and conspiracies, that you have your own head terrorized, because I know I certainly didn't. I certainly didn't. I responded. I showed receipts about other people. And realistically, that had nothing to do with you. You inserted yourself. You interjected yourself. So your opinion of me is fine. And stop saying I hate you. I do not hate you. I don't know you to hate you. I have an opinion. You have an opinion of me. We don't even have to see eye to eye on things. But even when I was saying I didn't want it back and forth, respectfully, you stay in your corner, I'll stay in mine. That wasn't enough. That was not enough. You just kept going. Hey, Temper. Making thumbnails, tagging me, having other CCs tag me. That's harassment. Especially when I've said I don't want to be going back and forth. And like I said, all of this is documented, including the lives that were taken down. But you want to claim victim while you were out swinging on things that you knew nothing about, and allowed other people to push a narrative and use you in the process. And Maggie was one of those. And I'm not saying that so that you fall out with her. Nobody cares who you support. Honestly, you're free to support whoever you like. As a matter of fact, it's everybody else that gets targeted for who they support. And all sorts of lies made up about them, because they don't see things your way and they don't agree with the person that you support. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what it should just be left with. A disagreement. Not a live where my daughter is talked about. People are commenting that I should not have my child, that my house should be spotted. And I had done nothing to you at this stage, Golden, nothing. But yet that vitriol was there. So it was evident that you were coming at me. That vitriol was based under something that had happened the year previous. But there's been no accountability. There has been no ownership of what you have said or done at any time. I've come out here multiple times and said what I said. And the lives are there to be able to show. In regards to Nick, and I'm going to wait for Nick to be able to speak herself. She can speak for herself. I just want to say, what was played in regards to Jane, how can you be more offended than what Jane is? Really? Isn't that kind of like what Maria says on panel? It was a year ago, she's over it, it's not a big deal. It's down to her whether she wants to accept that or not. She's clearly accepted it. But you seem more wound up that Jane has sorted things out with Nick, and that there's not some animosity there. You dropped off the panel. You didn't challenge it. You dropped off the panel, then went live. And then went at Nick for not speaking up. But yet you would have been more familiar with the panelists there because you used to be up on Maggie's. So you could have spoke up and said a lot. But you sparked up your own live and it snowballed and it snowballed from there. And it's funny how you bring up all the old people who used to support you, who used to be around. Your platform was actually growing and being supported. So as much as you say that you did whatever for Jane with her business, you also threatened in your own words to take it away. Doesn't sound like solid support. You got so wound up with Nick, and she was reduced to tears. Well, how can you be more offended than what Jane is about that? Why? And yes, it's in around the same time as everything else. But like I said, that's down for Nick to address. Why is it so hard for you to accept that other people can find common ground, can have a conversation, and then it's done, ended, over with, and move on? Because as much as you're accusing other people not being able to move on, the only people that are bringing it back is Ralph, you, your two panelists, and the other lady in the background with Ralph. That's it. Anything else has been a response. I had no desire to be out here and re-speaking on things that were already done and finished with. But when you continuously come out and insert yourself on something that you were not even around for and lie, I'm entitled to respond. And I'm entitled to respond without you feeling victimized. If you feel justified in what you're saying, and you stand on it. Stand on what you did. Stand on the fact that you instigated all of this, because you did. And people saw it. And people watched that live, Golden. And it's recorded. But the lengths we go to and the narratives we spin, saying we as in that collective, the lies we spin, and the attacks that are made on people who are speaking their truth because you weren't around, and you decide how everybody else is supposed to feel, supposed to speak on, or in your own words, how they move or operate. I don't know what universe you live in, really, or what reality, but life doesn't work that way. And that's not how this app runs either. She went after me because she can't move on, and everything has to do with Ralph, of course. Exactly, Jane. Yeah. Fighting for a cause that she wasn't even around for. Doesn't even make sense. Hey, Mr. Nobody. I hate the face the people are pushing this sector as black only. It's all fun and games until white only sector is formed. That's a good point. Now I can actually see why some people would be reluctant. You'll probably hear me in the earlier as to having white people in a black space. Because there is a history of damage caused there too. So I think there is a certain amount of respect to be given to her voice in that opinion. May not agree with everything, but I absolutely respect that she voiced it. So I can get people's ambivalence. I can get people's perceptions because they have been painted that way by the people who have come before. But we are not all like that. We're not. And at the same time, if somebody was to say to me, okay, you're not welcome over here, I just accept and say, that's fine. I'll respect your platform. I'll respect your boundaries. That's it. Because I'm visiting at the end of the day. I'm not over here trying to impose myself on anybody. I don't get involved in the black tea sector politics of who's arguing with who. It's not my place and it's not my business. And if you notice when I'm in there, if there's anybody talking about somebody else and their fallout, I don't give a comment on it. I don't comment on it. Deliberately. Because it's not my place. So I can't just join the Britney Spears sector. Of course you can. Mickey Mouse Club. We put you in a Mickey Mouse Club and we'll set up some new Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and Justin Timberland. Get a new generation of them. But there are white spaces where a lot of the black tea community are welcomed. And I can honestly say here is one of them. Truly. And there is a zero tolerance on this platform. First offense, they're gone. Out, gone, not back. So let me just pull up a little bit more on this. When did you do this?
It was a really good video.
Oh, yes, it's fine.
Maggie just wants to be seen and heard. The conversation that needed to be had. When you they're politicking. They're like governing over us, and like in this space, and it's all like, wait, what the hell is going on? Now, I'm not in the belief that, no white people can be here, because obviously we have Pamela. Shout out to Pamela. Shout out to my cousin Stephanie. We have white people here, right? So yeah, they've always been here, but it's never been a thing where they were intertwined in a way where they're involved in the mess and involved in the sector. And that's all like, wait, where did all this come from? I kind of spoke about this during the Jelly years, has Jelly been here for years? Yeah, she's been here for years. But Jelly is a known racist, Lacey, whatever they want to call her. I just call her Jelly because that's the name that I know her by. But Jelly is a known racist. She's a known bigot. We do not like Jelly. We do not cap for her. We do not give a damn about Jelly. But Jelly was given so many chances to disrespect black people. And it was unbelievable how many chances she was given. And for what and for why? And why is this lady even still around? Isn't that crazy?
I agree with him on this, because I think if you platform a person who has got a long history of this and recently posted where she apologized but didn't state that it continued afterwards, that's the point. People tend to say, okay, well, you've said sorry. Okay, let's go on. Let's continue until it happens to the next person and the next person and the next person. So that's why mine is zero tolerance. You do that shit, you're out. Do the word, yeah. And for that person to ask you to leave, who is not even on their own channel, that's not their channel. She might be a panelist, co-host, all that stuff. But to make that kind of a statement, black tea sector, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Nobody, black tea sector is predominantly American black tea sector. And she's UK, do the word. And in reality, I'm not sure if politics is part of that. Does it go into a different category? I'm not saying they can't exist, can't coexist, none of that stuff. I'm just saying I wonder what it falls under. I don't know what niche. Everybody has their own lane and where they want to be. Do the subscribers overlap? They do. But I think his point with Maggie was not respecting the space that she's in. So when she arrived, as people know, in her history, She did a lot of damage by windmilling on other people for Jag. Then went on an apology tour. And then did the exact same thing again. And still went after content creators because they had a difference of opinion. And still went to strange lengths, and even with her subscribers and all of that stuff. Like, she wasn't able to hold much of a relationship outside of Kimmy, okay? I can get what he's saying. I can get what AT2 was
Somebody
saying.
like that should not be around. She told you that she would sell you for goods and spices. And you know what's so crazy is that I remember I was still in Vegas and I was watching that live with Magic, because remember I even came up on panel and I had told Lady T about it. Lady T was like, what? She was like, you need to go up there and say something. So, you know, I went up there and, you know, I said a few words. I was like, Maggie, you really need to listen to the audio. You really need to listen to it. But why did I have to beg and plead Maggie to listen to that audio? Why did I have to beg and plead her to do that? She should have did that on her own, because if you remember, she was like, "Oh, well, in Haiti, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. The N-word is not a big deal. We say that word in Haiti." So the word in Haiti that they use is negre. It's Negre. It's like negre. It's like a derivative from the N-word, but they use that word in Haiti. And Maggie was saying, oh, well, we use that word all the time, so it's not a big deal to me. Maggie was being purposely obtuse. She was playing stupid on purpose. Because are we not forgetting that Haiti is a black country? This is why they use that word. Just like in the black community, we use that word because we're using it amongst ourselves.
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Nobody there, yeah. He was giving her a hard time for being Haitian and saying horrible things about her when she came out. Yeah. And there is a lot of double standards across. I think that it comes down to sometimes with cultural nuances as well. Because I know for me, I'm being in certain spaces, like, and you'd be going into different chats and you'd have people who would be explaining what's wrong with people from the UK and the stuff that was going on in certain chats like Maggie's, where the ebonics were being used and there was microaggressions, like learning certain words are triggering and have a different meaning. And just being aware and respectful of the space that you're in goes a long way. And I think if that's not taken on board, it's where people become offended. You did not give a hard time. He's back over there now again, back and forward, back and forward. It's a triple standard. I don't know if there's any resolve to it. I do think people have their own experiences. They do have their own prejudice and bias. At the end of the day, if you have a platform, you are entitled, and especially if you want it as just, okay, this black tea, and you feel like, right, this is sacred, if you like, and specific, and that's fine. It is something that I'm speaking for myself. I'd respect that boundary. But I've never had that experience. I've never had somebody say to me, you can't be in here or not be polite, not be... Other than I've been up on Maggie's channel the other evening, I have never been told before to get out of the black tea sector by a man who's not really in it. And other than another female that's over there too, it's the only place I have heard somebody tell me go back to Ireland. Which is quite xenophobic, Maggie. So again, you're calling xenophobia on other people, but yet you do it and participate in it also.
And so in Haiti, they use that nigger word amongst themselves minority. But Maggie tried to pacify and put a Band-Aid on the word to defend Jelly. And remember, the only reason why she's not cool with Jelly today, not over, oh, your people sold you for goods and spices and, you know, all the N-word stuff. She wasn't mad about that. Oh, and the, you know, she can't stand black women, all that shit. She wasn't mad over that. She's mad at Jelly because Jelly threatened to take her channel.
That's true.
That's why her and Jelly don't like each other. Because Jelly threatened to take her channel. It was not over the N-word. It was not over her racism. It wasn't over any of that. It's because Jelly threatened to take her channel. So we got to put context into the shit that we're saying, you know? And that's the video that I wanted to play for you guys, but I was like, no, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, it is graphic. Well, yeah, like I said, there's a couple of things on this I agree with. There's a couple of things with Empress. I can see where she's coming from entirely. The skin tone can also add the elitist view. And it can with whites too. Yeah. We have class. Yeah. Completely. Okay, thank you for kindly says hello. Oh, that's cute. Maggie got mad when she said, but what if they're not even Haitian? You assume those people are Haitian. Like, what you're Haitian, right? Trying to act like the issue is someone who isn't Haitian. Yeah, I don't agree with the comment that generalizing the whole ethnicity is not, that's not right. I don't agree with that. You can't say people as an ethnicity are a certain way, every one of them. Those blanket statements are not. And the same with the European. I don't agree with that either. But that's her opinion. And she's allowed her opinion. And I think you need to take into account also that there's an experience behind that as well. Does that mean that every person within that ethnicity is responsible? No. But Maggie, you were making White Walkers. You weren't doing things that were a little bit different, you know? That if you reversed, really wouldn't have been received well, and rightly so. You have your own prejudice too. You do. There are times you do make xenophobic comments yourself. And you certainly allow other people on your panel to say it too. And it's kind of odd because, yes, as Mr. Nobody did state, you've been at the receiving end of it also. But I can see why people look at your channel and kind of go, well, you don't really stand on anything. And especially in issues that are hard. And things where you should be taking a stand on. I get that. I see that. And I think that's a lot of what you have been incapable of being able to hear all along. It sounds like avoiding being cancelled. Haitians are the fighters. She can't even be proud Haitian independence. Here is a fun fact. The Haitians, when they looked to Ireland, actually, on how we had formed the Republic of Ireland to adapt as their model in Haiti. Bit of trivia information. Yeah, the blonde hair, blue eyes. Yeah, stereotypes then of leprechauns and stuff. And like, some of that is in jest and it's not in any harm, and I get it. It doesn't bother me, but it did bother other people on the app. And when they spoke up to say how they felt of it, even though you weren't talking to them, they spoke up about how they felt. And then that got attached to me deliberately by you with a false narrative to it. That went on for months, and you only corrected it over on Kimmy's the other day. But the damage is done at that point. The performance on Phantoms was an interesting attempt at distancing and not taking any accountability. Nothing new there, AJ. Nothing new there. That's why I'm saying there's no point in having no conversation. I'm not open to any conversation or anything like that. No. She is who she is. And that's just how it is. You just cancel it all forward. They're not contributing to any culture or creativity. It's so toxic. Hate spreading. Yeah, and it's also causing her subscribers to look at other people in this sector, in the adjacent sector, to look at them suspiciously, like they're involved in a worldwide online group gang that are set out here to attack the black tea sector, because that's exactly the narrative that's been put out. And that's wrong. That's messed up. No proof. No receipts for anything. Making up things that you know are wrong and lies, Ralph. And just because there's people over here that may mod for Ron, or may mod for Sean, there's actually two people here. You said in and out through my chat. That's wrong. That's deliberate lying. Two people. You want me to drill them about who they support? But yes, if it was your subscribers, you'd be wondering why they're being attacked. So why are they being attacked? Why are they being highlighted? Because wasn't Cookie over in Atwoods? And Danny and a few others. And in regard to a couple of things that were called out, didn't Danny exactly show? He showed his allegiance in what way he sat. And absolutely what way he tended to think. Because his actions speak louder than words. So the things that were highlighted in your chat months ago, they still stand. They still happen. And that has been problematic. So no, I'm not here and I hate everybody. Hate is a strong word. I don't hate anybody out here at all. I really dislike two people on this app, that's it. But not enough for half the things that I'm accused of doing. Crazy shit. I'm here and I don't care. I'll go to anyone and support. Exactly, Bailey. Like I said, I haven't had that experience. If you go somewhere, and I think if you're respectful, if you're open to listening to the cultural nuances and taking them on board, have a bit of respect for the spaces you're in, it goes a long way. It is wrong and it's starting conflict. It's it's starting conflict, and it is a way to be able to create a drama, create a narrative, and then make it rain, where you're being targeted and nobody's targeting anybody but them. They're the ones targeting and sending messages with those words exactly in it. So that's it. I just want to come on really quick and play a bit of AT2. Like I said, there's parts I agree with, there's other parts that I don't. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe Magic will learn too that she can't keep making generalized sweeping statements on people. One's like, well, they're from Atwoods. They were one time over there, because so were you. You were over there at one point. Your mod was over there at one point and has been with you throughout. But the conspiracies are only in the ones that what? Left? Saw through the charade. It's nonsense. The people here are great, Dudu. I have to agree with you. Yeah. I love this chat. I really do. I love the people in it. There's always good vibes in the chat. You get the same subscribers that keep coming in, and it's good to see them. Nice little community here. And we all support each other because that's how it's supposed to be. So thanks everybody for giving me your time. I'm sure there's going to be a backlash to this, but it is what it is. Again, before it's twisted into magic that I was lecturing somebody, I'm not. It wasn't intended in that way at all. And it is simply to show out the hypocrisy of when something is presented to you and how you present it to other people. And even though I don't like you, I don't agree with the statement. It is what it is. So on that note, guys, thanks for coming in. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.